Hello everyone, welcome to my first video on the channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about array rotation in Java. This program will simply just use Java, nothing else, and we will be using one class, one file as well, and one method, and that includes printing everything. Unless you want to return it, then you can also just return it. But first let's get started. So I'm using Visual Studio Code at the moment, and right now let me just quickly select my data type and create my thing. I'll just call this test.java. Remember to capitalize the first letter of your name. There you go. Just to make sure we have everything, I'll always import java.util, and there you go. And if you want, you can put your name there. So, yep guys, so here we go. Let me just create the main method, and after that we should be good to go. And okay, now we're ready. Now we have the main method here, and let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is let's just create the console, and in order to do this you have to create a scanner class, and I just name it console because that's what I like naming it, easy to remember. And there you go. And the reason it's underlined yellow is because we're not currently using it anywhere, so the program believes it is useless. And yeah, so let's prove it wrong. So here I'm just gonna create a int array, and I'm just gonna call it ARR, and I'm gonna set it equal to several values. Let's go all the way up to 7, lucky number 7. And then there you go. And let's quickly create a result array coming off of that, and quickly just name that, and then we'll set it equal to the length of ARR, our first array, and there you go. Remember, you can't change the length of an array afterwards, so we'll just set result equal to this for the moment because we don't want to hard code it. Remember, you can always take user input for the array, but I've decided not to because it is difficult asking the user for an array, especially if they don't know Java. So here we go. Let's ask for int d. This is going to be how much we want to rotate it by. So let's ask the user to provide an int to us, and there you go. Just to be more user friendly, let's add the print statement. Enter the amount you wish to rotate the array by. And we'll do that just to style it a little bit and close it off with the semicolon. So here we are now, and first things first, always remember with array rotation, in case someone gives a number higher than the length of the array, that should never be a problem. So here I always just do d is equal to and then array.length. So basically, just in case someone does enter a number greater than d, or greater than the length of the array, the program will just do this and we will be good to go. And guys, the next thing we want to do is go down here, give a quick space, and we want to initialize an int I. And we will be using this within our for loops code block, not within the test condition itself. So let's quickly create a for loop here, and for those of you that don't know, we don't necessarily have to fill in all the gaps. So right here I'm just going to put a semicolon and move on basically, and make sure I is always less than the length of the array. And do it again, and always increment I by 1 using I++. Now here what we want to do is that we want to set all of the elements that we can at the moment from the array ARR to our result array. So let's quickly make result equal to I is equal to array dot d plus I, and yeah. So what this is doing is just moving all the elements from starting from D in this array. So let's imagine D was 2, 0, 1, 2. That would get us to 3, and it would start printing all the way up until here. And you might be wondering about what we do about the 1 and 2, and we'll get to that later. But for right now, this is correct. And let's create another for loop really quickly, and just initialize it int a. A is less than d. We'll learn why in a second, and just keep incrementing a by 1. Here what we want to do is we just want to do whatever the result was, and basically here we want to start the result from like, you know, I, and just like keep adding a to it. So we'll do result I plus a is equal to ARR A. Now what we do here, guys, is all we have to do is we just have to print it out. We have it. Our a result array is set, and if you guys want, you can make a separate method for printing everything. I'd honestly rather not. So let's create another for loop. You know, there might be an easier way to do this, but this tutorial is just for beginners, so we'll leave it at that. And actually, you know what? It is good sense to make this the length of result. Even though we know both are the same, it's always good to make it the length of result. And do x plus plus. Now that we have done that, let's just do system.out.print, and let's quickly do result x, and let's just quickly add a space there and close off right there. And one more thing before I do that, I realize up here we actually already did a print statement, so let's just do let's just create an empty print statement and get rid of that. And there you go. And yeah, guys, this should be how to do it. And in order to test everything, let's quickly run it. Alright, guys, one more quick thing, one slight change to code. Make sure to do -d over here. Yep, so you don't run into a runtime error while your program runs. Now that you have your terminal all up and ready, let me just compile it. So this line of code is where your Java C is located, and I should just click enter, and it compiled properly. And this is the location of your Java file. As you can see, it's in the same file folder. And yeah, and just make sure for the compile you just write test.java, and here you don't add the file extension. And I should run it and enter the amount you wish to rotate the array by. So let's test it out and put 3, and you know it did it correctly. It put the first 2 numbers out here and the rest over here. And like we practiced, let's do it by a large amount, such as 100. And as you can see, we experienced no issues at all, and we still managed to get it out. And for those of you wondering, well, if it was 100, how did we only have 2 on the side? If you think about it, the max you can get to 100 while multiplying 7 is the length of the array, is 14. 7 times 14 is 98, meaning you have 2 remaining, and those are those 2. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much how to do array rotation in Java using only the main method. Obviously, there are other ways and more efficient ways in doing this. And with all these for loops, there are probably better ways to do this. But remember, this tutorial is only for beginners, and it's supposed to be short and quick and simple. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. And for the full code, check out the link in the description to my GitHub. Thanks for watching. Bye.